How about now? Can you hear me now? I was on my, okay, can you hear me now? I was on my other microphone from when I went live earlier um, with Brother So, and I had turned that microphone off, and I guess I probably need to turn that back on in order to do what I'm going to do today for you guys. Not a lot of questions came in, or the ones that came in had to have some prep work behind them that I haven't had time to deal with. Based on the lives that I did for Sewing Machines Plus yesterday and Brother Sews today, and then getting ready for this one. There's not enough time. There weren't enough hours in my day. How's that? I went to bed at 11:30 last night, so not enough time in the day. So you guys are hearing me. You're seeing me. Everything's going good there. It's good to see you guys. I hope everybody had a wonderful Thanksgiving vacation. And yes, for those of you that were wanting to know what kind of dressing did we have, white bread mush. So I just don't get it. Chop up pieces of white bread, put it in there, and pour some stuff on top of it. Just doesn't, not the same thing, but oh well. I'm so sorry it's dreary there, Caroline. It actually is very sunny here, but very cold. We had actually flurries last night. We got a little dusting here. Shocking. Oh, thanks so much. I'm glad you enjoyed that project. And for those of you that didn't watch today, we did a little, hold on. Stocking gift card holder. Okay. So multiple little varieties of it. And then I did, I guess I should have brought them all over here. I had some larger ones that I did that these may make it as prototypes. So these are things that how I was learning how to do it. Trying to test my design. So you guys got to see the start of it. And I may take you through that, but I'm going to answer the one question that I can answer today that's been there for a while. So that I have not had a chance to get to in a while. So I kind of like the truck feel too. That is one of my favorites. The truck, I think a snowman one do white with blue snowman on it would be cool, with a blue flannel over the top. So this one's flannel, and I kind of liked it because it's a little fuzzy. This one is cotton. So it just depends on what you're wanting to do. This was the one that I learned that, oh, I'd better make that seam, that otherwise it's going to be open. That was my epiphany on that one. So yeah, you sit there. But in order to get something done in a timely fashion, because I thought Kathy was going to do a live project as well, I did 5x7 gift card holders instead, which is always kind of fun. I mean, gift cards, you could put candy in it. You could put, they could be, if you personalized them on your machine or even in the software, you could make them your gift tags. They can be ornaments. There's all kinds of things you can do with those fun little gadgets. That project is live. That project you can find. Oops, hit the wrong button, but that's okay. Let me do this right here. You can find those files. Let's see here on my website. If I can get there.
I'm not quite sure how to help you.
Alexa's listening. So if on here on free designs, if you go to free designs and you click on that picture right there, that will download the 5x7 files for you. There's a back and there is a front there. So if you didn't realize it, there are some freebies out here that I have that you guys can play with. Occasionally, things need a freebie, and so we plop a fee. That's where I plop my freebies. All right, so let's see here if I can find my mouse. It's gone over to the other screen. So, all right. The question was, how do you? And I've seen this on a lot of Facebook groups recently, so I'm going to address this today. How do you manually change your threads on your multi-needle to get them to stay instead of them doing the magic wand. Okay, there are a couple of ways. I'm going to show you the way that I use because I find it the easiest. But you got to wrap your brain around how it works, and it's called needle exchange. Basically, you're going to tell it switch the needles, and I will show you how that works. So give me just a second to change my camera, and I will bring you up on my multi-needle over here. Okay. And where is... All right, so we're going to bring up an embroidery design. Boy, this is kind of hard to see if I don't sit in a chair. I'm going to have to sit in a chair. So we're doing something different today. I never get in here and do this. So we'll do something a little different. Let's see here. Let's just grab this, and let's say we want to do the letter C here. And we'll set it, and we're going to end edit. Why do you want me to change to a larger frame? Because I don't have my screw in. There we go. Yeah. Hold on. My screw fell out, and I don't know where it went to. When I was putting the driver on it, I dropped it, and I've got to dig for it. Because it fell down in that nice tray at the top. And since I do not have my table underneath there, it is not liking me. Can y'all hear me? Or do I need to? Yep, you can't hear me. So hold on. Let me change mics. Audio. Can you hear me now? Yes, you can. Okay. Sorry, when I went to the other room, I forgot I had the other mic on. You got to have the right mic on in order to be able to do this over here at the machine. Otherwise, you're hearing me at my computer. And my screw had dropped off, which is why I had to go and leave for just a second. Since I don't have my table supporting my frame, and I didn't, my screw, when I was putting the frame on it, I dropped it down here in this tray, and I haven't had time to dig it out. All right, so we are going to go in here, and we are going to end embroidery. And this is where it tells you want to change your threads, okay? So let's determine what's on what needle. So let's look at my needles here. If we look at my threads, I have blue on needle number 7. I have a green on needle number 8. I have a pink on 2, which is light lilac. I'm going to call that pink. So that's, I don't have a yellow up here, so we're going to call that lime green. And my purple is on needle 10. So we're just going to kind of come in here and look and see where what we're going to assign. This key right here is your key, Sharon. You touch that. All right. So we're going to say we're going to go with a dark blue, and that is on needle number 7. So 1, I'm going to switch it to needle number 7 and say, okay, doesn't matter what's actually showing the color there, but my blue is now assigned to needle number 7. All right. I'm going to touch okay. Let's see here. Lime green. Right now it's on needle number 3. I need that to be on needle number 8. So I'm going to go 3 to 8. So now you can see my lime green is now on needle 8. Let's see what my next color, light lilac. I'm going to call that pink, and we're going to put that on needle number 2. So, and it actually is on needle number 2. So we're good with that. I don't have to change that one out. The next one will be yellow. Since I don't have a yellow up there, I do have a lime green. We're going to call it lime green. We'll say that's needle number 9. So we're going to go 4.
and switch it to 9. All right, we'll say okay. And now you can see yellow is now on needle number 9. Lilac is on needle number 4. I want it on needle number 10. So we'll switch it and say okay. And then needle number 5 is cornflower blue. Oh, what are we going to call cornflower blue? Well, we're going to make that red for today just because that's what I've got up there. Normally, I would go ahead and change that out, but actually, cornflower blue, if I go with my red, that would be on needle 5. If I go with my darker pink, that would be needle 4. So I could do 5 to 4 and say okay. And that's how you switch them out. That is a permanent switch. So if I come back out and say okay, that's permanent until I change it. You'll notice they're all still there. If I had done the magic wand instead, once you've stitched it, it goes away. Oh, y'all want me to show you that again a little bit closer since I gave you looked at my threads? Let's go back to position 4. Okay. Let's see here. I'll do it one more time for you and show. If you do magic wand, it is temporary. After you stitch it, it goes away. If you want it to hang for the next section that you do, you go in and you do the needle exchange. So we'll just kind of switch this around. I'm going to say, what is it? My light blue, we're going to make that orange this time. So we would take light blue and switch it over to needle 1 and say needle exchange. Okay. Then I left light lilac. Leaf green, we'll make that number 9 this time. Yellow, let's see here. We'll make that needle 8 this time. Okay. And I mean, that's how you would do it. You just go in there and that will assign it and it will hold it. So even if I return to go back to editing those and I come back in, those needle assignments are still there. So that's a permanent change until you get done with this design, whereas the other one is a temporary change. Okay. So hopefully that makes sense to you guys. All right, let's see here. Let me change cameras. Does that make sense? Okay. So Sharon, I think I just answered your question. Hopefully that made sense to you. Go play with it. It takes a little bit of time to wrap your mind around it, but you're basically just switching which needle the thread's on instead of magic wanding it like you normally do. So you just switch them back and forth. Well, I'm glad you're over there watching right now. So, all right, guys. Other questions? Yeah, if I had changed the colors of the embroidery design itself, then yes, I could. But since I did not change the colors of the embroidery design and I didn't change my threads that were up there, if I wanted to change my threads that were up there, then yes. I just was going with what I had up there today instead of rethreading the machine. So this is if you want to use the threads that are there. If you wanted to assign your thread colors, you would go and do that a different way. That you would do, let's say I wanted to change those colors. I would do in my edit menu and I would come in here and touch this little key right here. Oh, wrong one. Sorry. Let's edit. Got to be in the edit menu. Touch this little key right here. And let's say I wanted that to be orange. I would assign it an orange. If I want this to be a different green, pick a different green. If I want this to be purple, that'd be on needle number 10. I would choose a purple. If I wanted that to be pink, I'm going to assign a pink. If I want that to be, now I have got probably have the ugliest flower up here ever. Let's say we want that to be rose color, 5. And then my cornflower blue. Oh yeah, we don't want cornflower blue. Let's make that a different color of pink. And we'll say, okay, so now if I end edit, this is my color. These are my colors now. All right, we'll do it based off the real threads that I have up here. Needle number 1 is correct. It's on, that is orange, okay? So if I want to make sure my leaf green is on the correct one, it is on needle 8. So I would change 8 and 9, switch them. All right. The next color is magenta, which is currently on needle 2. And that was what I was calling purple. So that's on needle 10. So 2 to 10. All right. Now, if I want, my pink is on needle number 2. And my dark fuchsia is on needle number 4, which is correct. And then my deep rose is on needle number 5. So based off of what I have threaded up there and what colors I changed mine to, now you can see that they are assigned to the correct needles with the correct color here. I don't worry about that so much. I just change it to the needle that I need it to be at. But that is that's how that would work. Okay. So yeah, and I get it. That makes it easier to understand, but a lot of times it's not going to be, depends on if you're a color 101 kind of person. I'm not. I will go, a lot of times I'll go off whatever I've got up there and we'll just make it work. Because usually I have some basic colors up there. It's unusual that I have those odd colors up today. But, you're just telling it which needle you want it to use for that particular color. And if you think of it that way, you're just exchanging those needles. You're switching them. Okay. And thank you, Cindy. I appreciate that. Got my little Christmas balls on. This is, you can't really wear green when you're wearing pink. So that's what we've got today. All right. Let me see here. Questions? Does that make sense to you guys? Well, I agree with that. If you've got nasty weather, it is a good day to come upstairs and play. I do agree with that. Okay. Now, y'all are awfully quiet today. Well, last 2 weeks, you've been very quiet. Let's see here. All right. Well, I'll show you how I made the stocking. How does that work? Because we started it the other day, but I didn't have my head wrapped around the way I wanted it to do or what that file went with. So we'll start with that. Let me go to my screen here and let's get out of this. Okay. So first thing I did was you can pick whatever size. So if you wanted to make a bigger one than what I made today, let's say I wanted to do the biggest hoop that I have for the luminaire. This is my biggest hoop for the luminaire. So what I did was I went into my Scan and Cut tab and I went import and I brought in the stocking. Okay. You can pick however you want to do it. That is what I did. Now, I may have changed my mind as to how I did this, but then I made it as big as I could make it in my frame. And then I decided, that's a little bit small. Let's ungroup it. Maybe. So I took this part right here. Let's see if it'll let me take it. There we go. This part right here, I took to the top. Because I figured out what it was. And now let's make it smaller a little bit. And to make it work, I made it a little bit bigger here, guys. Now, why did I do this exactly? Because I'm going to merge these two pieces, and I've overlapped them slightly. And if you remember, I got the stocking off of Canvas Workspace. So I'm going to come in and I am going to fill these with color. Don't care what color it is. We're just going to make a fill stitch. And then we're going to say modify overlap, and we are going to merge those two together. So it's one unit. All right. And then we're going to take our select point tool, and we're going to get rid of these little double points that happened right there where they connect. Okay, so that's the first part. And then we're going to take it and we are going to say not sewn for the field for right now. And we'll zoom out. Then I made it a little bit fatter. And I made it a little bit taller. Because I found that I liked that better. Okay. So that was simple enough, right? So that's my first stitch, and that tacks down the batting or the fleece that I used this morning. So it depends on what you're going to use. You can go however you would like to on that. I think I know I did this. I made this a little bit wider here and here because that made my cuff easier to deal with. Okay. Now, from there, I copied it and I pasted it and I changed the color. So that's my first two steps. Then I filled that with a decorative, the second one with a decorative fill. But I changed the order to where the decorative fill sewed after the first, or you could choose stippling instead, depending on what you want to do. You could do stippling, you could do decorative fills. I used one of my decorative fills from my winter collection. So depending on what you want to do, let's say we wanted to do the snowman hats. You could do the Santa hats. Lord have mercy, I'm crazy. $150. And I made them a little bit bigger. All right. So far, so good. We've got our stocking. We're basically where we want it to be. And that looks pretty decent to me. All right. So now there's one last thing I want to do. I want to make sure that that is a straight line. How am I going to do that? Well, I'm going to go and I'm going to get my select tool and I'm going to click a little line right there. And then I'm going to take that edit point on the right-hand side and take it up. We're going to have to do this for all three pieces. Give me. Take that and move it up. So now all of those should be aligned. And that's close to being a very straight line. Okay. So now I'm going to come in and I'm going to grab the line drawing tool. And I came in and I drew myself a little dashed line, just a little line right here. And this gave me the ability to line up my top piece. And I think I put it down about an 8. Actually, no, I'm early on that. Hold on. We want to do one last thing. So I'm going to grab that first stocking and we are going to create an offset line. We are going to go inward. And I think I went about 3 millimeters, if I had to guess. Yep. That's going to end up being our covering stitch. That's going to end up being what we kind of sew the whole thing together with. There's one part of that will change, and I'll show you that in just a second, but we're going to work off of this. So since that is going to be where I want it to sew all the way together, let's pick us a different, let's click our line drawing tool and let's pick a different color. And it doesn't matter what color. And we're going to make this just slightly below that so that we have the ability to know where we're going to line up that next piece. Okay. So we're going to go home and we're going to do arrange copy and we're going to do vertical mirror copy. And I'm going to take it until that line, can you see that line over on the right hand side? See how that line's right there? We're going to make it to where it's tucking in just like the other side, and then left click to set it. All right. So that's where I've got that so far. Now, that's where we're going to place our little piece. And I think I need to take it down just a little bit. I think I did, let me put this in inches. I think I did 0.08. That's 0.11. So I probably need to take it back up. Now let's measure it. Yep, that's close enough. Doesn't have to be exact, okay? This is just my thought process and how it worked, all right? So then from that line right there, I measured down about 4 inches. So if I go to from this line and I come down here till I see about 4 inches, and you can see it, your measurements down at the bottom left-hand corner. So if I look where my cursor is over there, it's about 3.5. So I came in and I grabbed that line drawing tool again, and at 3.5 right here, I drew another line. And this is where I placed either your ribbon or whatever you have, whatever loop you want to put on there. And the reason we did it is because we're gonna flip the cuff down, okay? Now, so basically our stocking is ready, except for we need to do some extra little steps here. So this guy right here, we're gonna grab him again and we are going to copy him and we're gonna paste him. And then this one right here, we're gonna hide this guy right here for a minute. And this dude right here, we are going to come up and we're going to zoom in on him. And we're going to select point and we're going to split at point. And we're going to do the same thing on the opposite side because I need a line that is open. So now I'm going to select it and delete that little line. Okay, this guy right here, we're going to turn him back on now. We're going to take him and we're going to take him to the top. We're going to make him all the way up. So your line would be going across here and right there. This is how it would stitch together, and we would change that to a triple stitch. Okay. And it looks like I need to move my edit point over a little bit for this one, just to make him match up with the other. It's not going to kill it. It's not going to make it or break it one way or the other. Then you're going to slide down here below where this line is, and you're going to add a point, and then you're going to split at point. You're going to make yourself about a 3-inch opening. So if we go from there to, let's go with 2.5 to there. Let's go with 3. So I'm at 2.75 at 1. So we'll go down to 2. So let me grab let's come grab this guy again, select point, and let's go down to the 2 mark here. And we'll split that at point. So now if we look at our little line here, there's that line We want to delete it. That's our opening to turn. Okay. And that is basically how I created that stocking. Now you can change your colors to where you're doing more than 2 colors, or you can leave it at 2 colors. That is up to you. But that's how, that is how I created that stocking. Now the back was a much simpler process. Much simpler process. Rectangle tool. Draw yourself a rectangle that fills the entire space. We're going to change it to a decorative fill and change it to a running stitch. So our decorative fill, make it the same one. And I did it 150 millimeters, right? There we go. And then change the order of sewing. You want it to stitch down the tack down stitch to where it stitches it onto the fabric, onto the hoop before you do anything else. And then put it in the center. Then we're going to grab our line drawing tool and we're going to take and make a stitch going across here. Left mouse click, hold your shift key down, and then double click on the opposite side. And you now have your running stitch to attach them. And that is how that worked. Oh, that was one thing I forgot, wasn't it? Okay, so I do remember one thing we forgot on the other one. We have everything here except for how to attach. No, that's right. Yeah, we needed to attach the red to. No, that's right. I've got it all. Sorry, nothing. I'm right. I didn't forget anything. So that is how that works. Okay. Well, I do try to make it look easy. Otherwise, you don't want to do it. Thanks, Cindy. That is one of my favorite collections. I like that. The sewing collection is really cool too. So if you wanted to do sewing themed stockings, you could do that as well. That would be fun for your sewing group if you wanted to. Yeah, I can go back over that out how to create a motif stitch. But let's see here. Email address would be Cindy Hogan at cynthiasembroidery.com, or you can message me. But I don't like to post that out here because then I start getting a lot of spam. But here you go. Or the contact us button on my website, that's me. But I'm popping that in there for you. Okay. How do you make a cutting file from a design in BES4? I have Power Pack 1. You don't need another Power Pack to do that. I can show you that real quick. Let's get here and see if I've forgotten anything else here. Oh, I feel your pain. I do feel your pain. My dad's house, it had totally flooded, and they lost. My stepmom lost everything. So it's hard. It's heartbreaking. It actually is very heartbreaking. I mean, her entire life has gone up in flames. She lost my dad and lost her house within 3 months. So, yeah, I feel your pain, and I am so sorry that happened to you. Okay, let me do the cutting file first, and then we will do a custom stitch again, Vicki. But that is basically how we would have made that. Let's see here. Let's go to BES4. Did I not open that one? Okay, so if you have a, if you're using one of the applique shapes in BES4, you're not bringing it from someplace else. I'll show you a different way to do it if you're bringing it from someplace else. Let's say we click and we want to make the file for this one. It is very simple, okay? So right now we've got our stitch file. If I go to my Tools tab and I touch the Scan and Cut button, it will have created your artwork files for you. And then you export that. Since you don't have any power packs, you would you've got power pack 1, did you say? I think power pack 1 may have given you wireless connectivity to the Scan and Cut. You can look and see by going up to the application button and see if you have Scan and Cut machine, send a Scan and Cut machine on there. If you do, then you can simply send it that way. And you don't need to worry about that, but let me log in. It's been a while. If it lost my connectivity. But if not, you can export the FCM to a USB or to your computer, and then you can send it wirelessly from Canvas Workspace if you want to send it wirelessly. If you want to send it by the USB, you can send it via USB. Now, it's taking it forever to do this. Jackie, BES is not a digitizing program, okay? It is a customizing program that lets you create appliques with it from FCM files, but it is not a digitizing program. So I don't want you to get frustrated trying to create a design with a fill stitch, because you are limited to what is in the program as far as fill stitches. Let me go back over. It has successfully done that. If I were going to a USB, I would say export FCM, find a USB, which I don't think I have one on my computer. I don't. And then save the file as a name. Okay, so those are your options. Now, if I come back in here and let's go open up a file. And I go to, let me find one. Make me hunt and find myself an applique file. Let me think. Let's cut work. All right, I know there's applique in here. So let's see here. Let's say this is the piece that I want to cut. What I need to do is, first of all, make sure the color palette Brother Embroidery is selected. Once you do that, double arrow to the right, that will take you to the end of the thread palette. Change that color to applique material. Anything that you want to cut, change it to applique material. And I'm going to choose this one right here instead of this one. And the reason being is that it looks like there's dashed lines there. So this one only has one dashed line, so I won't have as much to mess with. And they're generally right on top of each other. So once I've changed those pieces to applique material, I can then click my Tools tab and then say Scan and Cut. And you will see there's your feet and there's your other part. Okay. So those are the two ways that you can do that based on what you've got or what was built in. Let's see here. Yep, he's just down the road from you. Hopefully you are feeling much better, Miss Cindy. if in BES you get that message that your stitch length has exceeded 10 millimeters, basically. I can't do it with an applique, so let me come and grab something else. Actually, let's just do it with a letter, but if it's a built-in design or a built-in letter, you can see which parts it's going to be, first of all, because if you look at it in 3D mode, well, those stitches are gone. So if I come and click on the segment that is gone, I can figure out which one it is. Must be that. You can come over where it says pattern and change it to a different pattern fill and click apply. So now you can see how that one has a pattern fill on it. Let me see what this one does. That's the one. Ah, but there's lots of pieces to that one. So you want, it's this column right here. So you want the ones that are column stitches. And I'm holding my control key down. Now I can come in and change that to a different stitch. And that will take care of it, okay? Well, Cindy, I'm glad that you're doing better, but it is, that is no fun. Yes, it splits at 10 millimeters. It should automatically split for you. I personally don't like them to exceed 7 millimeters in width, and the reason I say that is because a 10 millimeter stitch is so long that it's just going to pick out. So that's when you've seen me go in there and emboss a line in the middle of it to faux split it myself. Okay. So that's what you do for those. And let's go back over, and you're wanting to know a decorative fill. Okay. So not motif stitches, Vicki. You want to talk about decorative fills again. All right, we're back in PE design, just so we're clear on that. And we're going to go up to the options pull down menu, and we'll go to programmable stitch creator. These are the ones that save as PLF files. Let me find my mouse. Now, you bring in your artwork. So if you go to the view tab and you say open template, let me see if I can find something that's let's say I want to do a basketball. You want a motif. Okay. All right. That will make things easier because, all right. So we're going to, instead of a, and I forgot to see what I was doing here anyway. Hold on. We want a new motif, not a decorative fill. All right. So we're going to open a template. We'll open that up again. And I'm sure my artwork, just so we're clear on it, I'm sure my artwork came from Creative Fabrica, and they are having a sale on their memberships. Let me zoom out so I can get this down here to see what we've got going on. As low as we can go. So, this is not a great piece of artwork. Normally, I would take this into my artwork program and change it from a PNG to a JPEG. I wonder if I have that as a JPEG. Let me see. Nope, they're all PNGs. PNG, if it has a transparent background, it's going to come in with a black background, just so y'all know that. That's just the way way of the world with this particular program. It is annoying. So normally I will take that into a different program, an artwork program, and change it from a PNG to a JPEG. That way I would have a white background. All right. We're going to start there, and I'm going to make it big. And I usually place it someplace that I think will be easy for me to start and stop. So that looks like a kind of a good center point for me. All right. And we're going to lower the image density here a little bit so y'all can see my points. And let's zoom in. The blue is your start point. The red is your end point. Think of this as a string of yarn, okay? And you've got to make your design out of that single piece of yarn. So you have to think it through in that manner. Where do you want to go over this twice? If you don't want it to run through the center from the beginning to the end, then you have to figure out which part of this design do you want to run over twice. For me, I think that means the bottom would be the easiest to run over twice. So I'm going to come in here and I am going to select you click to add a point and then click to move that point. But you have to click and let go first. So click and let go and then drag it where you want it to go. Click and let go and then drag it. And remember, the artwork is not going to be seen, so you do not have to be super precise here. I would pick one that's going to be more challenging than for me to think about. And I'm just clicking and letting go. And then you drag it where you want to go. I feel like this is like watching paint dry for me to sit here and do this, because I will have to say I'm kind of a perfectionist when it comes to these things, because I like to make, I try to do them all at the same time. Oops. What did I just do there? I right mouse clicked by accident. Okay, so now we're going to come back and keep going. Yes, there is. It's not called a playbook. It's called Lettering So Easy. It's for BES4, and that's available on my website. And it teaches you every part of the program. And you basically do this until your shape is complete. So I'm going to have multiple places where mine's going to be. It's the way this shape is made. It's going to require me to. I either had to think about it and figure out how I could draw it without going back over itself more than once, or you go with what you've got. And if I sit here and think about it, usually I will plan out how I'm going to do this. And since we're doing this off the cuff, I did not plan it out. So I will have quite a few heavy spots. And I see your questions, and I'll get to them in just a second. Let me finish this up. Now, to go back over, I'm simply going to click and add another point and try to set it right down on top of the previous one. Okay. We're just keeping going. Do we get the concept, or do I need to keep going? All right, so I'm going to take this one and we're going to go all the way across down to here. And then come back in and fill it in. Cindy, I have done what program are you talking in on the knockdown stitch? While I'm sitting here doing this, I can try to answer that question. Are you in PE design? If you're in PE design, I do a net fill stitch. I choose the third style. I take the spacing down as far as it will go. Yes, there is. Preview. Hold on. P design 11, Cindy, or BES 4? BES 4 has it automatically, but if you're talking about P design 11, I use the net fill. That is your easiest way of doing it. You can use the third style and then change your distance down to 3 millimeters. Okay, so we're just about done here. There's only one book for that, and it should say you want the one that's lettering so easy for BES 4, Jackie. Don't. The other one was for the original BES. Do not buy it. It is not going to do you any good because the program changed so much. All right, so now we need to take that all the way across. And that one's actually not a bad, and that one's not too terrible. Oh. And then we'll match that second line back up with it, just like we did on the others. Once I remove my artwork, this goes a whole lot faster. But until we get the whole thing drawn, we have to leave the artwork up. Okay, so I'm almost done. Now, let's turn off our background. At this point, now that you've got everything in here, it's time to refine. So you grab your edit point tool and you come in here and you futz with your edit nodes and get them setting down on top of each other. Usually they disappear. The second one disappears when they're merged together. So like this one right here needs to come right there. And once they're sitting on top of each other, you're in good shape. Oop. Arrow keys on your keyboard will help you make fine adjustments. And that's how you do it. When you save it, it's going to save it as a PMF file. So PMF is a programmable motif file. Okay. All right, let's see here. Let's see here. Cindy, let me go ahead and show you the knockdown stitch in P, design 11. Hold on. All right, so if I were doing a name, yeah, I'll be real original and use my own name here. This is the easiest way to do it. Touch the embroidered patch wizard. Don't have a satin stitch on it, and then choose how far away you want it from your original pattern and say okay. And so now you see how you've got an outline around your design, right? So now we're going to select that outline and we're going to click the select tool, and you come in and you choose net fill stitch. Go to your sewing attributes, choose the third style, and take the spacing all the way down. Then throw that in front. And that's your knockdown stitch. Okay. So that's the easiest one. Let me see here. Okay. So, DJ, thank you for your pictures that you sent. Yes, that is one of the questions that was asked today, and I'm like, I have to see one stitch. So a marrow stitch is on the list of things to do, but I do have to. I've got to see one actually stitched to be able to replicate it in a manner for a PMF file for us to be able to do it. So just give me a little time to do a little research and find a design that has it on it. I just have to see it stitched. Once I see something stitched, then my brain can go. So I just have to see it stitched. That is how my brain works. So I will have to check out what you've done. I saw images, but I didn't see I didn't see that you sent a PMF file. So I see the images of them that you sent. So I'll look at that and play and see how it goes. So Jackie, the book that you need, I'm going to show you what book that would be. Let me go to my website over here. If we go to BES workbooks, this one right here is the one that you want. It's the BES Lettering So Easy for BES 4. It is the complete book and actually walks you through everything, okay? So now these weekly Facebook Lives, you all didn't participate in them. That was a test that I tried. The only time people participated in that group was if I was walking you step by step through the book. So I have not been in there since my dad and my brother got so ill. So it basically died on the vine, I will have to say. Yes, it is possible to do one candle wicking stitch as an eye. Yes, hold on a second. Oh, that would be great. Hold on just a second, DJ, and I'll show you. So let me see here. No. One candle wicking stitch. You come grab your stitch, choose the candle wicking stitch, hold your shift key down and draw yourself a line. Make your candle wicking. Let's change this to a 4x4 hoop because that's about to drive me to distraction here. And we'll go back in and Control M to move it to the middle. There we go. Let's see here. Choose the size of the motif of the candle wicking stitch that you want. So however big you want it to be, and then shrink this line down to where you have a single. Wow, that's weird. Huh. It's just, okay, you're not letting me change your side. Let's try that again. So it's not letting me do what I want to do. Normally, I just shrink my line. But if it's not going to let us do that, convert it to stitches. Come zoom in. Grab your split stitches tool. And snip around the second stitch. Then delete it. There you go. Now you have one candle wicking stitch. Okay. Now, DJ, where do you find the files in P Design? Your motif stitches will be on your C drive. Program files x86, Brother, PE Design 11, Pattern, and it'll be a PMF file in here. Okay. All right, guys. Ooh, wow, I've gone over today. Yes, it will tie off. It'll have the tie off on the end. Okay. All right, guys, I am going to say goodbye today. You could add them in if you wanted to, but it should tie off automatically for you because that's the end of a stitch. And it looks like if you look at my screen here, let me find my mouse. If I go to my select tool, my select point tool, and click on it, you can see that there are some tie-offs there. And actually, it was taking extra stitches that I didn't want it to. So I would probably go in and take a few of these out and then make myself a little tie-off right there. That would work. Okay. All right, Sandra, go have fun watching that one today. It's been a good day today. I am glad it's over, though, because it's been a long day. You all have a great rest of your week. Send me in your questions, please, before next Tuesday. Just makes life a little easier if I can get out ahead of the game a little bit. And that gives me a direction to go to try to help everybody. So I guess I will talk to you all next week and have a great rest of your week. Bye-bye. Maybe.